to are right back there by the bushes. That's going to be an okapi over there. And the okapi has striping on their legs, very similar to a zebra, but they are the closest relative to a giraffe. Both okapi and giraffe have very long tongues and very similar facial features. Technically, okapis were discovered by a Western civilization in 1901, but there's still not a lot known about them to this day. We do know they're endangered due to habitat loss, which is why it's so important for us to recycle. If you look over to the left in the water, that really large bird there is going to be called a saddle-billed stork. They get their names because it looks like they have a little saddle on their beak. Unlike most birds, they don't have vocal cords, so they rattle their beaks around and communicate with one another. The females have yellow eyes and the males have dark brown, almost black eyes, and really that's the only physical difference between them. They both have a wingspan of 6 to 7 feet and incredibly long legs to help them get through water. Now if you look a little bit further back on the left, that's going to be a black rhino by that cave wall. Black rhinos are actually gray in color. That also applies to white rhinos too. One of the main differences between them is the upper lip shape. Black rhinos have a more pointed upper lip, while the white rhino has a wider one. The reason why we call them black is because they're usually around a lot of dirt and soot and tend to get covered in it. They're also thought to be solitary creatures, but really they like socializing at night. Meanwhile, white rhinos socialize all day in pretty large family groups. Also, to our left at the very top of the hill, and also by that bush, those are going to be greater kudos. They're actually females because they don't have horns, only the males do. But both male and female rely on their sense of hearing rather than their sense of sight. Now there's another antelope kind of hiding out by the leaves over there. That was a bongo. And the bongo is also called the ghost of the forest, and that's because they're rarely seen, and with the way their horns lean back, they get through thicker underbush undetected. Now we've made our way over to the Safi River. Animals that live here in Safi will either completely be in the water or very close to it. So we might not have the best view going forward, but we'll try to enjoy what we can find anyways. But if you look over to the right, you'll get a really nice view of the Nile hippo here. Hippos usually spend quite a bit of time in the water. They'll hold their breath for about 8 whole minutes, and it only takes them a few seconds to peek their heads up, get a good breath of air before going back down. They're born anywhere between 80 to 100 pounds and can reach 2,000 pounds when they get to adulthood. They also bond with their mom for a whole year and a half. While mom and baby are bonding, other hippos like to circle around them to make sure they stay protected. Hippos have a reputation of being super aggressive, but honestly, they're just really protective of one another and their homes. Now, there are also a couple of pink-backed pelicans scattered around. There's one here on the edge in the grass. They actually are pink, so is the underside of their wings. But during their mating season, the top of their beaks turn pink as well. They're also colonial nesters, meaning they nest in pairs ranging from 20 to 500. They'll nest in trees with mom and dad using their feet to keep the eggs warm. They can also fly 24 hours straight without needing to stop, which is pretty cool because they're one of the heaviest flying pelicans, or roughly 15 pounds. If you look over to the left, you'll see another hippo over there. A few of them actually.
Oh, look at something good.
Also on the left, those are going to be Nile crocodiles. The Nile crocodile is one of the largest freshwater crocodiles, roughly 16 feet long and 500 pounds. They like to eat about half their own body weight in one setting, and even if that's not enough for them, they go back for seconds. They're also capable of laying eggs. They'll put the eggs in their mouths and then roll them around to help them hatch. So they also put the eggs in their mouths and put different engagement in their legs. It's usually temperature that determines whether or not the eggs will be boys or girls. The warmer the temperature, the more likely they'll be boys. The colder the temperature, the more likely they'll be girls. Who's out here saying the line?
Just really enthusiastic.
Sorry. So this is a baobab tree, but it's also called an upside down tree because it looks upside down. But at the top are natural branches, not roots. Baobabs can go up to about 9 months without leaves, storing all the water they need inside their trunk to ensure survival. It will also ensure survival for some of the animals that live in the savannah, which we'll soon be entering. Now you'll probably recognize quite a few of the animals that live out here, but there will probably be a couple that you don't recognize. And I'll keep pointing them out as we're still going along. Over to our right-hand side, those are going to be Hermit Mountain zebras. When zebras are first born, they imprint on their mom's stripe pattern. That way they can recognize which mom is theirs. If you ever wondered if they're black with white stripes or white with black stripes, the answer is black with white stripes. A good way to remember is to look at their noses. They also have a small flap of skin hanging from their neck. It's called a dewlap. It's there to help them regulate their body temperatures. That way they're not getting too hot or too cold. Their heart is also 3 times bigger than any other zebra. That's because their heart produces a lot more red blood vessels and less oxygen, allowing them to live in higher altitudes. Now over to our right-hand side, these really small antelopes here are called springboks. But over to our left, there are a couple of African painted dogs inside the cave. They're a little bit hard to make out. Now painted dogs get their names because it looks like their coats have been painted on. And each painted dog has a unique code specific to them, the same way we have unique specific fingerprints. Unlike domesticated dogs, they don't bark or howl. They make a high-pitched chirping noise and have 4 toes on their paws instead of 5. They're also incredibly good hunters because they use a relay system. The adults go out, split into 2 teams, and switch between one another, ensuring they're not getting tired, but their prey is. Now there are a few more springboks over here to the left, along with the Ankole cattle, when the sable antelopes are all the way back there in the corner. Now the springboks are actually one of the smallest antelopes around. They stand at roughly 33 inches, but they are incredibly good jumpers. They get about 9 feet high into the air and 13 feet across, plus they run up to about 55 miles per hour. They can also go years without needing to drink water. As long as they eat a lot of grass and plants, they'll be perfectly fine. Now the Ankole cattle horns are known... The Ankole cattle horns are incredibly large. They get anywhere between 5 to 6 feet long, and they hold blood circulation. Blood will circulate through their horns, then go down to the rest of their body, dispersing body heat. They're also called Watusi cattle because they were domesticated by the Watusi. That was back in 4000 BC Egypt. But the behaviors they learned then haven't passed down the same way we pass down traditions. Now the sable antelopes that have been hiding in that back corner on the left, they get their names because of...
Okay, go on.
Sorry. Sorry. So they get their names because they turn that darkish brown color as they get older, and they live in really small herds. If the herd gets too large, they branch off into smaller ones again. Sables are going to be led by a dominant male and female alpha. The male is the one who decides that it's time for them to start migrating, but it's the female who determines where they go and how they get there.
It's so funny. I don't have vertical. What's on break? Thanks, Boo. Yeah. She doesn't just help me open the power of her body. Thanks, baby.
Over to our right-hand side, these are going to be wildebeest. The name wildebeest is Afrikaans for wild beast, but they're really calm creatures. They like migrating. It doesn't usually matter where, they go wherever the wind takes them. Every now and then you can find them migrating with zebras, elands, as well as the Thompsons and the Grands themselves. A group of wildebeest is called a herd, but also called a confusion, because the predators come by and they'll run around the predator trying to confuse them. The herd's also incredibly large. It's one of the largest herds for mammals, ranging from 100,000 to about 1 million.
Yes.
Now over to our left-hand side, we'll be seeing the Maasai giraffes. A group of giraffes is called a tower. It makes a lot of sense. They're very tall and they tower over just about everything. When giraffes are first born, they have a 6-foot drop. Do you know how tall mom is? The drop will shock them into taking their very first breath, and see within an hour they're going to be off and walking. It's pretty rare to really see giraffes sitting down, especially when they're out in the wild. They mainly stand because it protects them from predators. Even when they need to sleep, they sleep standing up. Granted, giraffes don't need a lot of sleep. They'll nap for about 30-ish minutes, and that's going to be it for them for the whole day. 30 minutes, and that's not even a consecutive 30 minutes. It's just going to be a couple of minutes that add up to 30 at the end of the day. also a keystone species, meaning they play a pivotal role to their ecosystem. That role being pollinators. Because they're so tall, they collect pollen at the top of their heads that pass from tree to tree. Speaking of the top of their heads, those are horns at the top, a bone called ossicle. Both male and female giraffes have them, but male copies have them as well. Now over to our right, all the way back there, that's going to be the African elephant.
He's a bachelor.
Now elephants will travel in a herd called a matriarchy, and the eldest and largest female will be the one in charge. The males aren't always as social as the females, so sometimes they leave the matriarchy and live alone. In some other cases, they make little bachelor herds consisting of 2 or 3 male elephants. While giraffes are definitely one of the tallest land animals, elephants will be one of the largest. The males will get up to about 13 feet tall, while the females get up to about 10 feet. But they both weigh anywhere between 9 and 14,000 pounds. Elephants usually don't stop growing until they turn about 40 years old. It's really impressive because they can live to be about 70. We're going to make our way through our clay pits. Clay acts from a venomous for elephants. The elephants will come over, get a little nibble to get them in all inside, and they'll be off on their way. So maybe we'll see some more elephants as we keep going. 50-50 chance. Oh, if you look over to the left, they're there.
The baby. Where's the baby? I don't know, but there's.
I'm going to be very honest with you all. I have no idea where baby is right now. She might be out here, she might not be.
Oh no.
I saw her earlier today, but it's been a couple hours since I've seen her, so no idea. We're gonna find out together and be super surprised. I'm being so serious. I really don't know if she's out here. Earlier, I talked about how there's water starting to set the baobab trees and the animals are lying in. Elephants are gonna be one of them. They'll take their tusks and poke it into the tree trunks to let the water flow out, drinking up to 40 gallons of water a day. They also have sensitive skin like we do, so they'll take mud or sand and cling it onto themselves, using it as a form of sunblock. That way they're not getting sunburned. They're also born with blood vessels inside their ears, so they blast their ears throughout the day to make sure that they're not getting overheated. There she is.
I'm sorry, I'm seeing her.
Yeah, I genuinely was not sure, guys. I have not been out here for an hour or so.
Oh my God. Come on.
Baby elephants are running roughly 3 feet tall and 300 pounds. It usually takes about 20 minutes to figure out how to walk. Since they're so small, they have to take at least 11 to 12 steps just to keep up with everyone else. So they really spend the first couple of years running around and chasing after everyone.
That is such a Christmas and we just didn't want to tell you. She was wearing like birthday Taylor. It's your baby. Oh my gosh.
She's so.
Now coming up to our left, we'll also be seeing the greater flamingos. Now you might notice that a couple of flamingos are completely pink or that they're gray, but don't worry, they're fine. When flamingos are first born, they're born gray. It does take them about 2 years of getting brine shrimp for the mature pink, and it's due to the keratin found inside the shrimp. Although whenever they lose their feathers, they do have a tendency to take white. see a couple of water bugs. Now, water bugs are a type of antelope that live by large amounts of water for two reasons. One, they drink a lot of water throughout the day. The second is when they're in danger, they run into the water to stay protected because their coats are waterproof. Because of that, it's really rare to see them migrate. If they ever do, it's usually through water instead of on land.
Across the road, baby. Oh, baby angel. You take your time. Wait, this is a perfect time for our point 5, you guys. We got places money.
Okay, this is your moment.
You gotta fit all the way. I don't know how we're gonna do this. Okay, we're ready. Just put your hand up high. I have faith in you. I think you got it. Oh my god, I did! Video.
Now we are holding tight for just a few moments.
No, you're good. There you go.
Yeah, we saw a baby.
This hurts my head. Okay.
It's working.
It's working. Did you get it? Okay, it hurts. You did it, right?
Alright, there we go.
Oh my god, I got it. Good job. No, yes, I did. I am so proud of you. Thank you so much.
If you look over to the left, you should be able to see the cheetahs. There are two by the tree in the corner, and then another one by the tree by the rocks. Now, cheetahs are one of the fastest land animals around. They get up to about 70 miles per hour, though they only hold for about 100 yards. They also have what looks like little termite marks in the corner of their eyes, down to their cheeks, and this lets the sun help them see where they're going. Unlike lions or tigers, cheetahs will not roar. They're going to make the same noises as a household cat, and a chirping noise very similar to a bird. They're also one of the only big cats that's able to retract their claws. We think that's part of the reason why they're so fast. They'll use that to their advantage to gain the traction. And the track formation we're going to go around is not a guppy. It's some animals like the lion will spend time on it every now and then. That way they can see what's going on down below them. And if you look at that little middle rock, there's a lion. Now, lions are nocturnal creatures, so usually they sleep during the day, so they're going to be more active at night. Their eyesight is also a lot better at night. Granted, their eyesight is about 6 times better than ours to begin with. Their hearing is also really great. That's because their ears will rotate, especially while they're out and about. That way they can always hear what's going on around them. Lions are also one of the only big cats to live and work in prides the way that they do. The lioness is always the one to go off and do the hunting. The lion himself will stay behind to look after their territory.
Logging claws off her.
You can see it better now.
Oh, he's leaning.
He's licking his little footy.
Look over here. Look over here.
You're a star.
Oh my gosh. Taylor for your birthday. Oh, go off, King. Go off, King.
Yes, kid.
Now, if you look over to the left where the tree is in the middle, kind of look a little bit behind it on either side, you might be able to make out the warthog sleeping. Now, warthogs are very smart creatures. They find little holes down the ground, then back them with their tusks facing outwards. That way, predators come by, they're ready to defend themselves. They'll usually scavenge very early morning or very early evening to avoid as many predators as possible. If you've ever seen the Lion King, you know that Pumbaa sticks his tail high into the air, and usually it's a small one right afterwards. In reality, warthogs do that as a warning sign, so that way other animals will know that there's danger nearby and that they need to get somewhere safer. Now, over to our right, we have the white rhino. White rhinos are one of the largest African rhinos, usually weighing about 6,000 pounds. Black rhinos, on the other hand, will get up to about 2,000, but they both stand at 5 to 6 feet shoulder height. Now, also over to the right down the grass, those are ostrich eggs. Now, ostrich eggs have a very hard shell. The crocodile could stand on one without them breaking. And they're pretty heavy too. One ostrich egg will weigh about the same as 24 chicken eggs, which is 3 to 4 pounds. We've reached our next stop, the Warden Zapdos. The Warden's been taking care of Nigerian dwarf goats lately. They make for pretty good prices. as long as you have the right amount of space for them. Overall, they're incredibly playful. They like to run, jump, and combat one another. All of this will help them to reach maturity. We also provide goats and milk, which is healthier than cow's milk. Their bellies are also pretty big considering how small they are. That's because they're born with four compartments in their stomachs that help them digest or nourish your foods. There's also a goat inside the truck.
There's one in the truck.
Now their bellies are pretty big considering how small they are. That's because they're born with four compartments in their stomachs that help them digest or nourish your foods. Now that was the last stop for our safari, which means our safari is almost over. If you're looking to see more animals, you can always come back to Kilimanjaro Safaris. No two safaris will be exactly the same. You might see something you didn't see this time around. You can also head over to the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It's going to be a self-guided tour. There you can see gorillas, hippos, meerkats, and mole rats. There's also a bird aviary. Or you can head over to Rafiki's Planet Watch. It's back towards the front entrance of the safari, and you'll take the Wildlife Express to get there. Once you're there, you can go to the infection section, which is pretty much like a petting zoo. You'll see some more Nigerian crocodiles along with a couple other farm animals. There's also an animation class where you can learn to draw the animal characters, and they have an animal hospital. Every now and then, vet techs do a few small procedures in front of the big windows you all can watch. If they're not doing any procedures, they might just take out to answer a few questions you have. Also, the train ride takes you on the backside of the reserve, so you get to see animal barns on your way over.